We're Arctic Monkeys. This is Don't Believe the Hype.
That rock and roll, eh? Ladies! That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question. Cheers, dude.
That man just yawned.
We're gonna call it
Don't Believe the Hype.
Hello and welcome to Don't Believe the Hype, your pocket-sized portion of Arctic Monkeys chat coming to you every single Wednesday. Yes, we finished the Favourite Worst Nightmare era now and are slowly working our way through a number of special little lists and countdowns and all sorts. And now, last few weeks, we've been ordering our Dream Live set, our favourite songs and our favourite B-sides. And this week it's very exciting, as we'll hear in a minute, with me, Nick Lee, and him, Dan Holt. Hello, Dan.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I am. I'm listed, almost listed out, but this list was very hard to come up with. The ones we're doing today. Why don't you tell the lovely listeners / readers?
Yeah. No, it's been interesting and it's been a little bit exciting. So I said last week we're doing a whatever people say that's what I'm not versus Favourite Worst Nightmare, which feels quite apt because I don't know if we probably won't do this for each era as we go because we're going to do a list at the end of it, so it would kind of be weird to keep doing it. But these feel of a piece, I think, these two together. So it feels good to compare them in a way and put them in. So we're going to be doing an album, least favorite to favorite, much like we did last week and the wrap up for this album, but combining them to seeing where we rank the songs when they are together. Do we rank more songs higher than whatever people say? Do we rank more than Favourite Worst Nightmare? What's going to be in the top spot? Are we going to have as much crossover as we previously have in these lists? Who the hell knows? But there is that, and then I have a little round that I had an idea for us to do as well. That might just be a little thing, and then we'll probably do our Dream Live sets after that to break it up. So with both songs in Dream Live sets, I have to say in advance, I've taken a lot of artistic license with that, and I've created what I think I would want to dream have them do on stage, not just the songs, but what I'd want them to do with some of the songs as well, is all I'll say. Favorite lyric and favorite musical moment on both. Will one album win both of those, or will it be a mix? We shall see. I've got a little question in between the after the B-sides as well, and I've got a hot take as well for this one. So yeah, and there'll probably be little chats in between about it. But so it's quite an interesting discussion, I'd say, about these, because they are quite similar, so it makes sense to put them together because there is a certain vibe, and it does feel like the end of a time as well. After this, things will never be quite the same ever again.
This is something we just can't do with any other two albums.
No, you couldn't, could you?
Maybe Tranquility in the Car at a push, but they certainly don't occupy the same space in the way that these two.
I don't think it'll be fair. I feel like it's fair to pit these two against each other. I don't think it'll be fair to fit Tranquility in the Car. Maybe AM and whatever people say, and that's what I'm not, formatically speaking. But yeah, maybe that could work. But yeah, other than that, it will only be when we pit all of the albums together that we would. Because if we do it every album, if next series we did Humbug versus Favourite Worst Nightmare versus what people say, and we just have our list by the end of it. And what I will say is it will be interesting though, because I think by the end, obviously, that I felt when I was doing this, I was like, hang on, I've got to keep. Is it just going to be the same list, but with whatever people want to split it in? But it actually kind of changed in other places in a weird way as well, which is odd. But without further ado, should we start with our 25 song list for this one? Perhaps unsurprisingly, I have gone for Old Yellow Bricks as 25 because I'm still very mad at it. And there's not a song I dislike more than that on the first album anyway, speaking objective or like, yeah. So I went with it because, yeah, I'm still very upset with it.
I have gone The Bad Thing 25. It's still
you're forgiving it.
You're
forgiving Old Yellow Bricks. You're forgiving it slightly.
We'll see about that. Okay. ask me again in about 30 seconds time, man.
Well, I may as well say then 24 is The Bad Thing for me. So yeah, again, yeah, they probably will switch. To be honest, once I've forgiven it and I've got over it, I'll probably put them in the order that you've put them, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, it's one of the things I did with this as well. This list is that I kind of went with like, okay, what would I? Well, the way I figured it, because at one point my mind was going to blow up trying to order them. And so what I just did was I put them in and I was like, would I listen to that? I started at the top. I knew what the first one would be and I knew what the bottom would be. And I just went, would I rather listen to that over that? Would I rather listen to that over that? And that's how I structured the list. So these are all like what I would rather listen to and enjoy over the ones beneath it. But yeah, 24 Bad Thing. I'm assuming your 24 is...
No, Old Yellow Bricks is number 7
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me. Sorry, did I not make that clear?
Right, so 24 is Old Yellow Bricks.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and it should
yeah,
count
get that out
itself
of the way.
lucky to be that high. Fucking
Get
liar.
them, yeah, cunt. Nah, Jack. We love you, really, Alex. Right, so this is where it gets interesting because I think we kind of assumed. I think I'm going to guess what number 1 is of yours, and I think you might guess what number 1 is of mine, but who knows? That could change. But I knew what the last 2 were going to be, really. So this is where things could go anywhere because you could have, I don't know, with one album you can guess, but with 2, who knows? My 23 is You Probably Couldn't See For the Lights, but You Were Staring Straight at Me. Because, yeah, again, there wasn't. I'd rather listen to it than The Bad Thing and Old Yellow Bricks, but not more than any other song off either of these albums, sadly. Even though it does have a really funny lyric in it.
Number 23 is the same for me as well.
Well, fucking hell. Right, okay. There we go. I thought it was going to be a bit of a different
I've got a feeling 22 and 21 might, based on what we said last week, I think 22 and 21 might match as well.
Potentially, because, yeah, actually, having said that, the first 5 are potentially what you would naturally say are the weakest songs on both albums, potentially. So, but that depends. That is obviously up to opinion. So my 22 then. We might put these in a different order. You never know. If it is, in fact, the same songs. My 22 is D's for Dangerous. Yeah. Same as last week, really. Is it yours? Yeah. So would we right to assume that your 21 is Balaclava then? Would that be?
Correct. You would be correct, mate. You'd be correct.
Yeah, I mean, they're just. I said it last week. They're both not. I don't dislike either of them, but I prefer them to the 3 before them. But they're just not. They're not better than any of the songs left on whatever people say. In fact, we haven't. Yeah, and they're definitely not better than any of the other ones left from Favourite Worst Nightmare. So, yeah, I mean, some people might put a couple of whatever people say I am lower than Balaclava or D's for Dangerous, perhaps, but I personally wouldn't. So yeah, they're just not. They're all right. They're all right. I think we said when we covered them, they kind of seem like a weak song off the first. They sound like one of the weak songs off the first album a bit. Okay, so this is where things could take a turn. Imagine if it was the same the whole way through. This is where
that's the point where we just cancel the pod. That's it. Done. We've completed it.
Imagine if our entire song list, when we finally get to it, is exactly the same. Well, we know it's not. But, okay, so I think actually it'll be interesting to see on the more interesting. Well, not to be disparaging, but the more interesting, let's say, albums, Humbug onwards, when we do our list for each of them, like the Humbug, whether that's when will start to be different because there's a lot more personal taste and reading of lyrics and things will come into it, whereas these 2 albums are very straightforward, perhaps. So you kind of know what are the good songs and what are the bad songs on these albums. I think most people would agree. But then with like a Humbug,
no, I've written them down. I've written them down on my phone.
Yeah. Yep. But the with Humbug and stuff like that, it could be quite open to interpretation of what is. I couldn't tell you like what are the bad songs on Humbug or what are the bad songs on Suck It and See, because that could be open to personal taste with those albums, which just shows how much more depth there is to them. So I'm going to be intrigued by that. But back to the task at hand. So number 20, still in the 20s, the last one in the 20s. Do we diverge? Mine is Perhaps Vampires is a bit strong, but I like listening to it, but I don't how many hits are ahead of this? Do you know what I mean? When you're actually doing the list, you go, fucking hell, look at all these bangers. So yeah, it's just not beating anything else for me.
If we'd done this a year ago, before we'd done our countdown of before we'd done the vampires episode,
Yes.
I would have had vampires in that slot, but I really like that now. That's moved up a few
Okay.
places for me. So
Interesting.
my 20 is red light indicates doors are secured.
Yeah, I can see that. I could see that because
Yeah.
my 19 is red light indicates doors are secured. So, yeah, very much similar. That it's I like it. I like the lyrics, to be honest. But again, when you do like when you do it in that way and you go in, and I'm going, do I like it more than that song? Do I like it more than that song? You keep pushing a song like Red Light back, going, no, I don't like it more than that one. No, I definitely don't like it more than that one until it ends up where it ends up. So a respectable
that's it.
19, you might say.
I mean, I'll be honest. Red light was not shifting at all. My next one. What's your 19?
Red Light.
Red
That is
light.
mine. I
So
think. Yeah.
my 19 started in the top 10, and then as I was doing the list, it ended up dropping to 19. This one might surprise you, man. Teddy Picker. I know it's a banger, but in terms of what I'd choose to listen to, there's 18 songs ahead of it. I'm thinking of it as if I had to pick one song to put on at the time I was doing the list, then there was 18
Well,
ahead of it.
it's interesting. So I think from here we're going to divulge a lot because I think some of them where I've put them are going to surprise you in the same way that Teddy Picker doesn't surprise me in a sense that it is what it is, but it's quite a lot higher in my list. But not quite a lot higher, but reasonably amount higher. So just because I perhaps I prefer it a little bit more. But yeah, I'm not shocked by you putting it there, I'd say, because I could see why. I can see why. But so you might think this, you might not. It's similar actually with this, where this might be a lot higher. My 18 might be a lot higher in your list, but I think you can understand why I put it here, like with Teddy Picker. My 18 is I Bet That You'd Look Good on the Dance Floor. Meant a lot to me at the time. Don't like it to any of the other songs that are ahead of it, unfortunately, and I don't. So it'll always have a special place in my heart, but it is what it is, really.
For exactly the reasons you've just outlined with that, my number 18 is I Bet You Look Good on a Dance
Is
Floor.
it really? I thought you'd have that higher because it was higher
No.
in your. I'm sure you had it a bit higher than me in the actual list for the first album. I'm sure
I did. I went back and listened. I had it quite a bit higher, but yeah, same as you. It's as Alex said when we wrote this song, it meant very little. Tonight, it means even less.
Couldn't have said it
Yeah,
better myself.
it's one that I wouldn't want to see dropped from the live sets, mind, because it's what, like 2.5 minutes. It's like, we've all got 2.5 minutes free, haven't we?
I'm not bothered if it's there. I'm not bothered if it's not there. That's the way I go with
As soon as I said it, I was like, no, actually, I think I'd be fine. I'd be fine.
I
Or
just
maybe they should just play for 2
nonchalant
hours like every other band that's been going that long.
Why don't they play for longer? Yeah.
Don't get me started. There's my one pet hate with them.
Maybe that. Yeah. I wonder why. Maybe it's held as poor arms.
Let's see what my other pet hate with them is the fact that they're looking like having a break again.
Well, this is what happens, mate, when the bands get older. Like when they're younger, they churn out the albums, but once you get families and responsibilities, you can't just be going tour, album, tour. You need time off, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unless you just don't care about your kids, like like Jagger or someone. But
look at you, Billy Joe Armstrong.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm a little bit disappointed in that, but not wholly surprised. I knew this would happen, and I knew you'd be disappointed because we had the discussion the other week, and you said you thought that you'd like next year's a write-off, but early 2025, and I said no, I think we're not going to hear anything from them until like October 2025, and you were a bit saddened by that theory, and I think so. I prepared myself like a doomsday prepper in my Arctic Monkeys basement, waiting for the bad news. Whereas you were out in the sun, and the zombie horde came and surprised you.
I think we'll get Last Shadow Puppets now, though. I think we'll get that, and the Libertines tour will be starting, so that'll keep me reasonably occupied until then. Having a new Libertines album, and I think there's a new Jack White album next year as well, so I can get my teeth into them while I wait, and then it'll come round again.
Yeah, very much reminds me of when the night doesn't go well in a club, and you just end up going up with some girl that you met in in the queue for the
That's
cloakroom
very much
that
what
you don't
Liberty-
really like that much. That's kind of what that vibe again.
But in this case, I knew her before I knew Arctic Monkeys. I knew her
Yeah.
years
Well, not
ago.
Libertines.
But
I
it's
mean
just
the
not
Shadow
the same.
Puppets. As much as I love them, I wanted another Monkeys one before I'd see the
Yeah.
madness because they're not supposed to come before Arctic Monkeys perfect this era. They're not supposed to happen because they make change on another album. It's not supposed to
and
happen like this.
I
No,
don't
because
think I'm
Miles is touring.
ready
I think
to
Alex will just
see
take a
his
break.
face everywhere.
I think Alex will go away and do a thing for a bit. He hasn't got a family or out, so he'll just start writing again, and then he'll start. I imagine when Alex starts writing, it's a bit like like in a heist movie when the main person that's planning the heist goes and meets individually with every specialist member that he needs to and gets them together for the heist. I think that's how it happens. Alex starts writing, and then he individually visits them all. He gets on a private jet. He flies to each their exotic locations. Plays them a few songs, gets the thing going, and then eventually they get together for it. And that's what I think will happen towards the end of 2024. And then they'll start jamming and recording early 2025, and we'll hear some around October 2025. That's my prediction. Don't want it, but I'd rather that than Shadow Puppets. Because it's 2026 if Shadow Puppets are in, aren't they?
5 now.
Yeah. It'll be 2026, maybe 2027 if they do a Shadow Puppets, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of time to get annoyed by Miles Kane.
No, because if they do Shadow Puppets next year, recording it and writing it, then they'll tour in 2026, which means we won't get them writing an Arctics album until late 2026, early 2027, which means we won't get any Arctics material until nearly 2028. So I don't want that to happen. Can't have that happen. It can't happen.
Well, I was feeling quite zen about it all, but now I just feel terrible.
No, I'll be nearly 40. You'll be in your 40s by the time the round comes out if that happens.
Don't fucking remind me.
Oh my god! If they announce the splitting up, then we'll just both fly into Dignitas. In Dignitas, where Miles wanks you off while you die. Okay, so where were we up to? I've completely lost.
17.
17. I'm 17 again. Okay, so 17 for me. Perhaps I don't know. How you feel about this. Knowing this list so far, you'll also have it here. So, 17. When the Sun Goes Down for me.
Okay.
I like it. I don't love it anymore.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. If they played it live, I'd go nuts. But so's be it.
When they play it live in 2028. Number 17. I've gone
We'll
for
be too
Riot
old
Van.
to jump. Riot Van.
Mate.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, we knew that
Riot
was
Van.
going to be a bit of a big difference, wasn't there? And where Riot Van was placed.
Listened to them both this week, and although I appreciated it more after doing, as I have with a lot of them, I've had a new appreciation for them off the back of doing the episodes on them. But having listened to both albums extensively over the last week or two, yeah, there's still just 16 I prefer to it. But when I hear it, I'm still like, oh, the memories and stuff. But yeah, there's just 16 I prefer.
I listened to just an update on because the car episode's going to go out next Saturday, so this episode will be out after that to people. So just to update people, I did another listen of the car today on vinyl while I was working, and tell you what, that album is growing and growing and growing, like Miles' erection.
Oh, for fuck's sake. We're already gonna have to see him for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, once Shadow Puppets are out, we're going to be doing like loads of Shadow Puppets content. It's just going to be gag, 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 gag. Much like the women in Miles' apartment. And right, come on, let's move on. Okay, so your 17 was Riot Van.
That's Riot Van, mate. Yeah.
I'm going to get you to do your 16 first. Let's change it up. 616. What's your 16?
Vampires.
Okay, so yeah, not a little bit higher than me, but not
A little bit higher, but it's still not. It's not breaking into that top 15. It's still not breaking into the 15. Unlike some people we could mention.
So you're right now. Well, not at that, but at the jokes.
I'm
you might do.
Quite happily
that is between you and your internet service provider. 16 for me is probably going to be is like my Riot Van for you, I think. From the Ritz to the Rubble, which I can hear people going because a lot of people rate that, and I like it, but I never loved it really. I like it a lot, but I don't love it. And again, if they did it live, I'd be going nuts. But the only bit of that song that I love is the opening and the last night what we talked about.
Yeah.
And the bass, to be fair, at the end. I do really like it, but these songs are like, it's mental. These songs are insane when you put them together. the hits are crazy.
There's a couple of songs I had low down, and then I remembered like a certain little musical moment or a delivery of a lyric, and thought, nope, that's got to go up. Horrible.
Perhaps surprising for some, my 15 as well. Some people might have this way higher, but Brainstorm for me. Okay, this was almost a lot lower because I never listened to Brainstorm. I don't really. I like watching it live, but I never just crack it on. I've kind of lost my love for it in a way over the years. I would never go, I'm going to play Brainstorm as a walk somewhere or something like that. It would just never happen. So, but when on reflection, I do prefer it to all the ones that came before it. So that's where it ended up, which is perfectly. What's halfway in this list? Like 12 and a half in it. Let's just say 12.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm not going to half
12 and 13 are halfway point in this, so we're almost there.
Unless you want to count The Bad Thing and Old Yellow Bricks as half a song each, then 12 can be the halfway point.
I do. We'll say 12 and 13 is 12. Yeah, we'll have 12 as halfway, shall we? So it'll be interesting to see what we both put as the halfway bests. Half mediocre is the word you could use. Bog standard song, I guess.
Just a few words from our reviews there.
What have you done? Your 15?
My 15 is Dancing Shoes.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, can see that. Yeah.
It's hard to reason some of these because it's just personal. I think once you get to the top ones, you can sort of say why.
It's literally like I prefer it to that one, isn't it? That's it, really. I
That's
prefer it to all the ones that came before it. Yeah, and it was very much for me. Would I rather crack on this than that one? And it was like when it came to Ritz to the Rub, when the sun goes down, Ritz to the Rub, Brainstorm. It was very much like, okay, would I rather listen to Ritz to When the Sun Goes Down? Yes. Would I rather listen to Brainstorm than From Ritz to the Rubble? Yes, and kind of that. But my 14 is Still Take You Home.
See, I think we've got a lot of similarities in here because I'll do my 14 and 13.
Close.
So
Okay.
my 14 is When the Sun Goes Down.
Yep. Don't know why he's become a pedo.
No. It was always consensual in previous episodes. And 13 is Still Take You Home. So
sorry, 14 was what? Sorry.
14 was When the Sun Goes Down. 13
okay.
Still Take You Home. So
yes, yeah. I think the only ones we've differed on massively so far, it seems, Ritz, Right Van and Ritz, yeah, and Brainstorm. You haven't had Brainstorm yet, so unless it's coming up very soon, it'll be quite different to mine. But okay. So that was your 14, 13. My 13 is Dancing Shoes. Yeah, I definitely would rather listen to it than I do love it when it comes on. I do love it still, and I loved it loads back in the day. But yeah, it is what it is. And it's funny actually doing this because so many people that clamor for these songs to be played, and we're just kind of like, yeah, I liked it then. But so 12 is our halfway point. This is technically in our list. This is like the most like we don't love it and we don't hate it point. I mean, we don't hate any of them, but except maybe the last two. But we don't love it. We don't dislike it. We just think, yeah, that's this. So this is our song. What's your song at number 12?
Right, number 12 is Brainstorm.
Yeah, I can see that. Mine's Teddy Picker.
There we go.
So yeah. It makes sense. Makes sense. So the next one is 11. So this is the one that just didn't make it into our top 10. The one that we just went, sorry, no, shutting the door. You're not getting into the elite.
Yeah. I'm also totalitarian.
Because the top 5 is all right. The top 5 is the elite supreme, but the top 10 is the elite, I'd say. But so mine, one that just didn't make it into my top 10, perhaps controversial, perhaps not, I don't know, is Flat Adolescent. I just had to leave it out, unfortunately, because I just don't. Yeah, I mean, this top 10 is a fucking tidy set of songs, isn't it? There's like tidy. I haven't said that before. But it's such a collection of songs that, unfortunately, even though Fast Adolescent is an absolute tune, I just had to not let it in, unfortunately, because I love the others more.
Well,
which one that you cast out from the
outside my nightclub? wearing the correct shoes, but being told he's wearing the wrong shoes as an excuse to not have him in. It is also for this adolescent.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting.
Just
A lot similar than I thought we'd be,
yeah.
to be honest. Is it the top? Well, because I know the top 10 can't be that different because the songs that are left are the songs that are left. So, but perhaps the ordering will be. Perhaps the ordering will be. So the first one that has made it in to the elite, but not the elite supreme, not the VIP room. It's in the club, but it's not in the VIP room.
Yeah. But it's queuing with the plebs.
Is Only Ones Who Know. Absolute belter, but I couldn't in good conscience put it ahead of any of the others for me.
Nope.
Now you had this. Because I'm curious about that because you had it quite high, surprisingly high, and it was your riot van last week to my riot van in the first series. You had it quite high, if I recall. So I'm intrigued what your number 10 is.
So my number 10 is this might be controversial as well. Mardy Bum.
I can see it, and let's discuss it when it comes up in my list.
Yes.
What's your 9?
9
I'm scared that the internet's going to cancel me for my number 9. But go on.
Tales of San Francisco.
Oh, interesting. I thought you might have that a bit higher. I know you always had a kind of soft spot for it. It's hard, though, isn't it? It's hard when you put in such great songs together. It's kind of like
There's a couple of songs off Favourite Worst Nightmare that are very high for me that before this series wouldn't have been that high. I'll say that much.
Yeah, it's hard because there's such good songs to that you feel like, oh God, is that really there? But yeah, I mean, when we do the whole list of the songs, that's going to be crazy. But my number 9 is 505, and that's going to upset a lot of people, I know.
Not me.
But it's never. I really love it, but it's never been one of my faves. So that's where it is, unfortunately. Well, but I do admit I do prefer it to Flash Adolescent and Only Ones Who Know, though, if we're talking about the melodic songs off this album.
My number 8 is 505.
What was your number 9? Oh no, sorry, you said yeah. So your number 8 is 505. Okay, so you similar thought process there with that, I'd imagine. Well, my number 8 is Do Me a Favor, because I do really love Do Me a Favor, but I mean, there's just such tunes here.
Big competition.
Again, big competition. And my 7, because you've already said it. My 7 is Fate Tales of San Francisco, and it won.
Quite close.
Yeah, it got higher upon reflection because I still bloody love it when it kicks in, and I still love the lyrics in it a lot. So, yeah, that was my first Alex kind of song where I loved his lyrics for the first time when I noticed them. So yeah, that's 7 for me.
7 for me is Only Ones Who Know.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
I've moved around a fair bit as I've been doing that list, but it's settled in 7. I'm quite happy with where it is.
Yeah, I can see that.
A lot of people have it. I think I don't think it'll be in a lot of people.
Oh no, I think a lot of people listening to this will be surprised that it's not like between 20 to 15.
Yeah, you
know what I mean? Yeah, they'll be so annoyed. Yeah, if this went out to like people that didn't listen to podcasts, like just the general people on the internet, they'd be fuming with our lists, I think. But like
just on the radio.
Yeah, 20 to 15, I think people would expect Only Ones Who Know to land within this. Some people might even have it like 20 to 25. I don't know, because no one would expect Old Joe Bricks to be 25, would they? So, so number 6, I'm going to get you to say yours. So this is the one that just didn't make it into the VIP room. It's great, but it's not like special for you. Special.
Do Me a Favor.
That tracks. Yeah, it's a great song, isn't it? But it doesn't get into that top bracket, that top tier. So my number 6 is Mardy Bum. So to go back to you had it at number 9?
Number 10.
Number 10. So it got higher for me because I was like, when I was doing it, and I was like, would I rather listen to Mardy Bum than 505? And I was like, actually, I would. It's kind of, especially like, a bit of Glastonbury 2013 plays into it probably as well. And I was like, would I rather, if I was going to click on a melodic one, would I play Do Me a Favor or Mardy Bum? And I was like, I think I would do Mardy Bum still. It's got a little soft spot for it. I wouldn't have said that before, but since we covered it, I think it's grown a little place in my heart again. So yeah, but not good enough to get in my top 5, fortunately. So this is the elite. Are we going to upset anyone here? I wonder.
Shit's getting real. Go on,
My
number
number
5.
My number 5, perhaps controversially for some, is Riot Band. Because as you remember, I had a strong reaction to it when we covered it, and that hasn't gone away. I still think I would still crack it on and come at me, people, but I would still rather play it than any of the other 20 that we've said to this point. And I think I enjoy it more.
I'm glad you've stuck with that since we did that episode. I'm glad it's still stayed up there. Yeah. By far, it is. This was horrible. This 5. From the Rich to the Rubble, number 5.
So considerably. So I had it at 16. So yours are 11 places higher.
Yeah.
And where did you have Riot Band? 16 as well. So that's the one that we've both had in wildly different places. Yeah, so that's the one for both of us. I kind of knew that would be the case though, because I know that you really love Ritz more than I do, and I know that I really love Riot Band. So if I could have picked 2 that would have had that, it would have been that. So that makes sense. So my 4, because I mean the top 3 is like even the better VIP room, perhaps a balcony rooftop terrace outside where everyone's getting
ladies
free cocaine and blowjobs. Yeah, I'd imagine. And for the ladies, they're getting some as well, whatever they want from the men.
Cocaine, Julio.
Everyone's getting treated well. So, but this one didn't get invited there. It's just in the normal VIP room. View from the Afternoon for me doesn't get in my top 3. Absolutely love it, but doesn't get in my top 3.
Well, just missing out on my top 3 is. So we're still. Well, we've got the same songs left here. Because my 4 is This House is a Circus.
There was a point where 4 and 3 changed a lot. I had View from the Afternoon at 3 for a long time, and This House is a Circus at 4. And then I kind of had to listen to them and go, no, actually, I'm just going to I think This House is a Circus. The reason it won, because on another day they could be the other way around, but the reason it won is because I just thought musically it's got a bit more about it. But then I say that and then I think, oh, what about the dueling guitar? So I can't really make my mind up, to be honest. They're interchangeable for me, but yeah, View from the Afternoon, This House is a Circus, pretty on par, I'd say, in my head. So they just had to go. Okay, so I guess the question is, wait, so that was your number 3?
It was my number 4. This House is a Circus.
Sorry, number 4. Yeah, my number 3 is This House is a Circus. So what's your number 3?
The View from the Afternoon.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we're both the same then, interchangeable, yeah. So the question is, do we have the top 2 in the same order?
I don't know. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure.
I think we will. If you ask me to put all my money on the table at that, I've already won 100 grand. If I'm right, it goes up to no, I've already got like, what's the last one on $1 million? $500,000. I can take that. I've got that. I can go home. But Chris Tarrant's going, I don't want to give you that. And he's going, you're going to do the $1 million. I'd put my money on us having the same one here. So my number 2.
If you're confident, I'm confident.
I'm going to do 2-1. May as well just do 2-1. So my number 2 favorite song from these 2 albums is If You Were There, Beware. And my favorite song from these 2 albums, by and far, I never think this will ever change, is A Certain Romance.
With that in mind, my 2, Davina Pause. My number 2 is If You Were Everywhere, and number 1 is A Certain
There's
Romance.
just no kicking it off. I mean, I still have a little niggling part of me that when we come to do the list and I listen back to all of them, because I don't want to kind of do recency bias with that. I want to go and maybe we'll have a couple of weeks before we do it where I can study all the albums. I fear that Certain Romance is gonna like get dangerously close to at some point, like Usurping, Suck It and See on reflection. I'm gonna go, hang on, Certain Romance is still like the one that gets me. I'm scared. It scares me, Certain Romance, because there was no way it was ever not gonna. There was a point when I thought, is If You Were There better? And I was like, no, it's just not.
It's gonna be like, by the time I get to the end, if that's still number 1, it's gonna be like when Leicester won the league. Like, you just keep expecting it to slip out.
The thing is, it's a fucking amazing song. It's got the nostalgia as well. it's such a good solo. So yeah, there's so much at play there. If you remember when we did our World Cup, it won for the fans as well that took part in that. So there you go. So there we go. We've got our list 25. You probably fucking hate us, but there you go. Send us yours.
You probably couldn't see for the list, but you fucking hate us.
I've got an extra round, and it might be null and void from the list, but it felt different to me. This, so we'll do it.
Play a jingle.
That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question.
I want to compare each track in each place on the album and pick a winner. So, for example, we would start with Brian Storm, View from the Afternoon. Which one would we say is the winner of that? Yeah, do you get me?
Yeah.
So, what would you be inclined to give? And we have to agree on this. We can't walk away with different answers. What would you be inclined to give?
I'd be inclined to go View from the Afternoon, and I think you'd agree.
I do agree with that one. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, hands down. So number 2, Teddy Picker versus I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor.
Oh, now
it's difficult because I think I prefer Teddy Picker. If I was going to put one on now, I'd put Teddy Picker on. But Dance Floor brings a lot of memories and nostalgia with it as well. So I'm conflicted.
I'm just about swinging onto the side of Dance Floor, just about, because they're right next to each other in my list as well.
You know what? Yeah, I think Dance Floor just edges out. Like you do a photo fit and his elbows over the line. You know what I mean? Like it's like that. That's how close it is. I think, yeah. For nostalgic purposes and memories, it takes it over Teddy Picker. But I think lyrically, Teddy Picker wins.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has to be so. We've gone from it. So, this was interesting, by the way. I just thought before we just stop for a sec. Our top 5s, both of us, whatever people say, and that's what I'm not, won the top 5s.
Yes, it did.
We had more songs in there.
Yes, 3 against 2.
So that would lend itself to us thinking that that's a better album. And perhaps similarly, that will happen in this. So we've got 2 from what people say I'm winning this so far. So number 3 would be Fake Tales of San Francisco versus D is for Dangerous. Is there a competition here? I know what I'm going for. Fake Tales of San Francisco. Thank God you said that. Fake Tales of San Francisco. Yep.
Okay. I assumed I didn't need to say it. That's why there was a pause. It sounded like I was thinking, but I wasn't. I was just like, yeah, we know the answer.
So again, whatever people saying, that's why not wins. Number 4, Dancing Shoes versus Balaclava.
I'll refer you to my previous answer.
Yep, Dancing Shoes. So the album's winning up to this point, like for like. Now this is where it might take a turn because number 5 on whatever people say is, I believe you probably couldn't see for the lights. I'm doing this off memory, but you probably can see for the lights, but you're staring straight at me. And number 5 on Fate Worst Nightmare is Fluorescent Adolescent, if I'm not mistaken. I'd give it to Fluorescent Adolescent. Yeah.
Not a tough decision, that. Not a tough one at all.
No. So it's 4-1. Okay. And this won't work like for like, by the way, because there's an extra track on this album, I've just realised. But we can we'll agree, take Certain Romance out because it's unfair anyway to whatever would be pitted against Certain Romance. So, although we could have an interesting question. Yeah. So that's 4. Okay, 6. Sorry, would be. Is 6 still Take You Home on the first album?
6.
Oh, this could be interesting. So Take You Home versus Only Ones You Know.
We've done yes. Only Ones Who Know. Only Ones Who Know for me, I think.
I think I'd be more inclined to go to Still Take You Home.
But it's Friday night right now as well, so I'm like, well, Still Take You Home.
Well, I think just Still Take You Home is more exciting, but I'll let you, if you want to go Only Ones Who Know, because it was such a highly rated song of yours, and maybe I'll get the same favor. Oh no, that's
the same treatment for
no, because I don't know, because that's gonna be yeah.
This is the worst thing you've ever done.
Comparing it like this is different, right? Yeah. But I will give you Only Ones Who Know if you want. But I think Still Take You Home is a banger in it. But I'll give you Only Ones Who Know if you want. I'll allow it. Would you lean towards that? Because I don't dislike either, so.
I have to lean towards it because it's higher on my list, but now I think
not necessarily because like my number 8 one was they were both pretty close, so you know.
But
if you want to lean to it, you can.
No, I think I am going to lean towards Still Take You Home. I'm just hearing it in my head now, and I'm like, oh yeah. Oh.
So that would, if we do go that would make it 6-1 to whatever people say, and that's what I'm not on this. 7. Do Me a Favor versus no.
Yeah,
Is 7 Do Me a Favor?
7 is Do Me a Favor versus Riot Van.
No. Are we doing this right? I just want to check if we're getting it right. I know Do Me a Favor is right, but is Riot Van the next song? Just want to double check.
Yes, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it's you, right? Okay. Versus Do Me a Favor. Oh, I actually thought it was going to be up against If You Were There Beware, and that was tough. But I'm gonna have to go Riot Van, I'm afraid.
That's fine.
Well, but no. You know what? I'm gonna put everything at play. You know what? I think for this we should take out our own personal like of the songs and just go off music lyrics because we're doing it together. So I think musically, then Do Me a Favor. If you're saying Still Take Me Home because it is better musically than Only Ones Who Know, and I'm gonna have to say Do Me a Favor is better musically.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
So that makes it 6-2. Could there be a comeback?
Okay. Possibly looking at the next one.
So it's, I don't know. Well, the next one would be Red Light Indicates Doors Are Secured versus This House is a Circus, right? Yeah, I've got to go This House is a Circus, right?
Yeah. Nothing more needs to be said there.
Ooh, though.
Yeah.
Mardy Bum versus If You Were There Beware.
Taking the memories and nostalgia out of it, it's going to have to be. If we're going musically.
Well, I don't think we have to take memories and nostalgia out of it. I think we have to take our own personal connection. So only really for Only Ones Who Know and Riot Van, yeah. But we both have the nostalgia for Mardy Bum and love for it. So it will just differ on Riot Van and Only Ones Who Know. So what would you rather? Right. So what do you think is a better? Okay. Which one do you think is a better song musically?
If You Were There Beware.
If You Were There Beware, I agree. Which one do you think is a better song lyrically?
If You Were There
It's
Beware.
difficult, isn't it? Do you think so? But Mardy Bum gets it absolutely spot on, though.
I know. It's just the change in the maturity.
I suppose he's spot on, but he's spot on to having a girlfriend at like 18. So there's nothing too sophisticated in there in terms of lyrical putting.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then if musically, lyrically, If You Were There Beware, then that means, but Mardy Bum is like more. If you're going on bigger song, Mardy Bum is a classic, an all-time classic. Mardy Bum will be being played on the radio in years to come. So do we factor that in? We know that speaking for the fans, Mardy Bum would win this. Yeah. But if this is us, then I think we'd go If You Were There Beware. What would you rather crack on tomorrow? Walk into the shop.
Well, it's not nice weather out there, so I'd probably skew towards If You Were There Beware. Mardy Bum's summary for me.
Take any external factors out of it. What would you rather listen to tomorrow?
If You Were There Beware.
Okay.
But I just said that without thinking then.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so I think that wins it. That means it's 6-4, so there is a comeback on the hands.
It's happening here.
Okay, so the next one is perhaps Vampires is a bit strong versus maybe not. It's a bit strong versus The Bad Thing. So I'm afraid I'm gonna have to go with Vampires all day, every day.
Oh, you people are bad things. Yes, it's Vampires. That's a great
7-4. And remember, whatever people say I am, I don't extract that it's losing it and it's still winning. 7-4. Okay, so the next one would be. Yeah, I think it's going to go to the first album, to be honest. But the next one's going to be Old Yellow Bricks versus When the Sun Goes Down. I'd definitely say When the Sun Goes Down. Yeah,
yeah, I know you would now. Scarred.
So that's 8-4. And then, okay, so this is interesting. 505 versus From the Rich to the Rubble. I'd go 505 personally. Because I think it's musically, like the guitar, I know it's Miles, but musically the guitar's great. I think it's one of Alex's most sweetest performances to date. As much as I think From the Rich to the Rubble is a tune, it is what it is.
Yes.
And I think 505 is like a belter.
Right now, if I had to put one on, I would put 505 on. So I'm happy to.
Okay, so 8-5 is the verdict. And then if it was 505 Certain Romance, we'd say Certain Romance, wouldn't we? Probably. Yeah.
Anything Certain Romance, we're saying Certain Romance.
So what if people say that's what I'm not won twice so far, but will it win the B-sides war? We'll find out. So should we do it to break it up? Should we do our dreams sets first before we do another list of songs?
Yes. Shit, I don't have
Me
my
to
dream
start.
set. And Grant. Yeah, you do your set because I need to get mine copied across.
Okay. So you're at the gig. It's 2008, Nick. Okay. View from the afternoon. Standard opener. Everyone's raring to go. And then it ends. This house is a circus. House is a circus, right? Goes on there, and this house is a circus ends. Get on your dancing shoes. On your mind. So now you've had the fast one. You've had this house of circus, which is a bit vibey, and then now we're going a bit funky with it, keeping the tempo up though. So dancing shoes, and then obviously dancing shoes ends with down. No. How does dancing shoes end? The only reason.
So what you scared?
Yeah. Brainstorm, boom! You weren't expecting it. Brainstorm picking the crowd up even more. He's going in there, right? And this is where I begin to take a little bit of artistic license from my dream, my nightmare. Is that so? Brainstorm's going 200 miles an hour, and then it goes to the, and it goes, "See you later, innovator." That hangs. Still take you home. Straight in, still take you home. Crowd can't believe it. Everyone's going fucking mental. Right? I can't believe it. Didn't finish Brainstorm, went straight in with this. Collected and commanding. You leave the other story standing with your renditions and jokes. Bet there's hundreds of blokes that have a web cost you've stolen there. Thunder, are you fitting us under? Because we can't take our eyes off the t-shirts and ties combination. Well, see you later, innovator. And then instead of Still Take You Home ends. No, that's Dancing Shoes. How does Still Take You Home end? Oh, Top Show print. How does Still Take You Home end? Wait, it's
everybody's looking. You've got control over everyone's eyes, including mine.
Including mine. Don't. A bit of Teddy Picker there, keeping everyone going there, and then people like you. Pairing them together, spiritual brothers together, and then down, running off over next door's garden before the hour is done, because it's the only they should be together. They should always be together. Okay, balaclava, and then she said, "Leave on the balaclava." Last night there's two bouncers and one of them's all right, the other one's a scary, and his way or no way totalitarian. And then Rich the Rubble, yeah, everyone's loving that. Boom, boom. End of it, bass. He knew what he wanted to say, but he didn't know how to word it. Keep the bass vibe going, keeping that bass sound going.
I'm worried by how similar we might be here.
Well, you're typing yours as I'm doing mine, so there's
I'm copying it over from another document.
Right. Dirty Little Herbert, and then These Dangerous ends by going. Let's do Strange Sound. Don't. You probably can see if the lights comes in. So down little blast of that, and then you probably couldn't see for the lights. That ends with, I can't remember how these ones end. How does you probably end?
One love sends it
The dancing through the veins, oh how the feeling races back up to the brains, to the on their stupid faces. Down. Yeah, Old Yellow Bricks, right? But you know the bit in Old Yellow Bricks towards the end where he goes, and Dorothy was right though. End Brian Storm at that bit.
Oh, you're going on Jack White now.
Oh, the end Brian Storm. They come back in. They do the engine thing. That's sort of that last minute of Brian Storm. The crowd can't believe it. They didn't know they were going to come back with it, right? Okay, and then Brian Storm ends. If you were there, beware. But you know, if you were there, beware. When it goes into, it goes. What's it? Before it goes into the breakdown. So it's in the and it goes down. You know, it goes into the breakdown, the quiet bit with the witches. But before it does that, just after the heavy bit, it goes. It has like a sort of distortion, doesn't it, as it bleeds into it? So the distortion's going out to the crowd. In foreign place, the saving place was the feeling that it was a house. He does only ones you know in the breakdown of If You Were There, Beware. And then at the end of Only Ones You Know. Finish If You Were Everywhere. If You Were Everywhere. then the crowd are fucking spent. The crowd are like, I can't believe this is incredible, right? And then so if you everywhere ends. Red light indicates doors are secured. Keeping that kind of snarky guitar in, kind of heavy guitar. Have 6 in, and then but red light indicates doors are secured. Do the bad thing.
Somewhere.
Well, you know, it comes after that. After it's a bit of a vibe, it's all right. And then you might make it worse. Dance floor after the bad thing, and then dance floor ends in the vampires next, so it's kind of the and then the whole vampires break down and everything, and then vampires are down. Up rolls the riot van, sparks excitement in the boys. Take the crowd right back down, and then at the end of riot van, it's a nest. What's the end of riot van is
It's then doom.
Do me a favor, keep that kind of level, and then obviously that kicks in, and then that ends the doom. Good night, everyone. This is the last song, and I'm going back to 505. Do the whole thing, whole solo, then boom, go off the stage. Crowd are going, encore. Come on, Arctic Monkeys, come on and sing us another song.
You're playing peekaboo for adults here. We know you're going to come back on, but we're still going to
come back on. Everyone cheers. Bring, said, who's that girl there? I wonder what went wrong so that she had to roam the streets. And then, the end of the intro. So the is it no? He's a scumbag, don't you know? And then it rings out, yeah. But no, was it not scumbag?
I hope you're not involved at all.
Doesn't the end of the intro? I mean.
Oh, the end of the intro, yeah. He's just come back.
Not the end of the end, the end of the start. I'm like Partridge. Yeah, he's just you know, and then it pauses, before he comes back in with it. So it pauses. And then nice little slow intro there. Down. Go into a flat adolescent. So who's that girl there? I wonder what went wrong so that she had to roam the streets. She doesn't do major credit cards, I doubt she does receipts. It's all not quite legitimate. And what a scummy man. Just give him half a chance, I bet he'll rob you if he can. And see it in his eyes, yeah, that he's got a driving ban amongst some other offences. And I've seen him with girls of the night, and he told Roxanne to put on her red light. They're all infected, but he'll be alright, 'cause he's a scumbag, don't you know? The end of First Night of the Lesson. Dun, dun, dun. No. Marty Bum, crowd are singing along great. Towards the end of Marty Bum, when he goes, on a day like today, when you're all. He's a scumbag, don't you know? The crowd can't believe it. Back in, here we go. Do all that. And then at the end, the end of When Sun Goes Down, I hope you're not involved at all. And then Helders goes, argumentative, and you've got the face on. And then they say goodnight, and they end that glorious set with A Certain Romance.
So laugh and joke around. Remember cuddles in the kitchen, yeah, to get things off the ground. And it was up and away. Oh, but it's way hard to remember that on a day like today when you're old. Said he's a scumbag, don't you know? I bet he'll rob you if he can. You see it in his eyes, yeah, that he's got a nasty plan. I hope you're not involved at all. Argumentative, and you've got the face on.
That would be my dream evening, seeing Arctic Monkeys playing these two albums.
I almost don't want to hear mine now. I was quite happy with mine, and then.
Well, last week we did the edit. I put both of our full sets in, like not full songs, but beginning and end, to showcase them. We're going to do that again because it'll be a bit long, and they've already kind of heard it. So, but I will do the little bits. What I mean by the little bits where I was interspersing the songs, how I'd like to hear them. I will put them in there so people can imagine it. So yeah.
Yeah, do that. 'Cause I want to imagine that. I will be. That's going to be in my head while I sleep tonight. I am kicking off. I think there's a few similarities in here. I think towards the end it's going to get a bit different, but yeah, there's some similarities, particularly around the start. So I'm kicking off with View From because it's View From. It's, you know.
Yep, of course.
Brainstorm is not first or second for me either, which might be a surprise. I've gone This House of the Circus second.
Like I did. Yep.
Going out with that into Brainstorm.
Oh, okay. It's Brainstorm.
Keeping the energy up with Dancing Shoes. Following that up, keeping the energy up again. We Still Take You Home.
Yeah.
Bring it down a little bit for Teddy Picker.
Yeah, more funk than
Teddy Picker ends into Fake Tales. Keep the funk going. As discussed, Fake Tales into Balaclava.
Yep.
Then I'm going to break out a big gun. I'm going From the Ritz to the Rubble.
Yep.
Then we're going from Ritz into D is for Dangerous.
Yep. Bass Brothers.
That with Bass Brothers, Eskimo Bros. That's a different thing. Don't Google that. D is for Dangerous into You Probably Couldn't See for the Lights, but you were staring straight at me. And then was good. Same as in our favourite Nightmare sets last week. I'm having a bit of a lull in the middle. Time to go for a piss and a drink. Old Yellow Bricks and The Bad Thing. Keep them together so I can have a good old piss.
I threw Old Yellow Bricks a bone by having it combined with the end of Brainstorm.
I know, and as soon as you mentioned that, I think that.
Do you know that when you latch onto a better, when you latch on to like people that are more popular than you at school, just so you can seem more popular. That was essentially what I did there for those songs.
Pretty much the reason I like football. Pretty much.
Although we're the only people that don't like that song, probably.
Yeah. I think once people get caught up, they're going to be fucking livid with us.
Where are you going after that?
The bricks, yeah, the gruesome twosome. I'm going into Riot Van from there. And then Red Light Indicates Doors Are Secured, because I cannot hear those two songs without one being after the other. Just impossible. Red Light into Fluorescent Adolescent. And now we've got some big ones to come here. So we're going. You've got your Mardy Bum. You've got Mardy Bum into Dance Floor, and then bit left going Vampires after that. Everyone can just have a good old bloody freak out, and then just when they think the freak out's over, we're going into Do Me a Favor. So bringing it down a little bit, but not that badly. Hang on, there's something I've just missed there. Let me just double check that's in there. First lesson, Mardy Bum. Vampires, do me a favour. I've just missed something. I'm trying to think what it is.
I think you didn't say Flesh Adolescent after the bad thing. I didn't hear you
Yes,
say Flesh Adolescent, so yeah.
That's correct. Sorry, yeah, First Adolescent. And do me a favour. This comes after Vampires. First Adolescent. No, sorry, it's Mardy. I said First Adolescent. That was First Adolescent was after Red Light. Then Dance Floor, Vampires. Do me a favour. Then Mardy Bum.
Oh, you put Mardy Bum
Oh no,
before
sorry.
Dance Floor before.
It's only ones who know that I've missed. Sorry. I just
okay.
accidentally pressed paste 3 times, and it just pasted the whole list into the list. Just leaned on my laptop. Yes. So that's where that goes. And then I end in the main set. Only ones who know, followed by 5:05, and then encore
Very nice.
time. 3-pronged
Okay.
encore of When the Sun Goes Down.
Mhm.
If You Were There, Beware. A
Nice.
Certain Romance.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah.
They're all good tunes, aren't they?
I really hope if the band accidentally tune in, it's to this bit.
Why?
With the set
Oh, right.
list. It's like, oh yeah, I think we will bring Only Ones Who Know back. Oh yeah, but should we finally play the bad thing? No, Alex.
No, they'll be going, why did we not think to have just pause the When the Sun Goes Down intro, do Flesh Adolescent, Mardy Bum, and then come back in for certain romance at the end of Mardy Bum in the pause. Why did we never think of
We're
that?
not fucking mental, lads.
Hey, that would be exceptional when you know
good,
it.
That's probably the best thing that's happened on this pod.
And Brian Storm pause into Still Take You Home and several others, and then resurging Old Yellow Bricks with Brian Storm is, yeah. I basically brought I'm like Quentin Tarantino bringing John Travolta back into the mainstream by putting Brian Storm at the end of Old Yellow Bricks. Basically what I've done. Revived its career.
I remember when the White Stripes headlined Glastonbury, it would have been 2005, and there's a little song on, I think it's like the 4th or 5th album. It's like 30 seconds long, and it's just Meg singing and playing on a xylophone and a little bell and stuff like that. And they must do it about 4 times in this Glastonbury set. She has to get up from the drum kit, go and stand behind the xylophone, sing this little song, and there's a bit where she goes, and it's just like, it's the cheesiest thing ever. It's just do it like 4 times in the set, just get up from behind. Be knackered as it is trying to keep up with him. And it's just like 4. And I think they do Seven Nation Army like twice. He gets like halfway through it and then just goes into something else. And she's like, scrap. That's why she's such a good drummer, because she's got to catch up. But I like it.
Mine perfectly structured though. It makes sense. And I don't think that I didn't sit there for an hour and a half playing the beginning and end of each song to check which one's blended perfectly, and those bits that I suggested using 2 different devices so that I could make them blend. Don't think I didn't do that, because I did. I mean, we couldn't record another pod last night, so I had time in my hands and I utilized it. So the 20 song, not 11 song B-side rank. I think the first 3 are probably going to be similar to last week, so we should perhaps whip through them. Maybe. My 20 is Bad Woman, because it's the cover. It's been relegated to the bottom again, as I did last week.
Mine is also Bad Woman, yes.
My 19 is the Death Ramps, because it's just an instrumental and it's not like, to me, I don't love it.
Same 19 Death Ramps.
My 18 might be different. My 18 is Plastic Tramp, but I think I had it a lot lower than you, so yours are probably different.
My 18 is Chun-Li Spinning Bird Kick.
Okay, really? Okay.
Instrumentals are always going to, instrumentals and covers are going to come out bottom in this for me.
But Chun-Li is a special instrumental for me.
Special moves.
Yeah. Number 17 for me is Sticking to the Floor. I don't care for it that much. It's just a little quick song that he doesn't sing very well in. And yeah, I don't. It's all right, isn't it? It's like, just like the reason it's a B-side for them, you know.
It's very much first song you jam to vibes when you're starting about them, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
As we said at the time.
You're 17?
17, Matador.
Okay, my 16 was Matador. So I would rather crack on Matador than Sticking to the Floor, if I'm being honest. And I quite like the bit when he sings, as I said last week. So
yes.
You're 16?
16, Temptation Greets You Like Your Naughty Friend.
Which is my 15.
Yeah,
so there we go. I don't mind it if it comes on actually,
I-
but yeah, I couldn't in good conscience put it higher than many of the others. So
I'd much rather watch the Glastonbury live version than listen to it. To be honest,
purely
'cause
for the
you get
band's
thing.
joy, if anything.
Only for Dizzy's air
Um,
guitar, his Roadman air guitar.
Yes, that's my 15. Then what's yours?
My 15, sticking to the floor.
Yeah, so there you go. My 14 is if you found this, it's probably too late. Because I like it, but it's quick and it is what it is, you know.
My 14, Plastic Tramp.
Yeah, so similar again. I put Chun-Li at 13 because when I was doing the list, I thought, would I rather listen to Chun-Li than Sticking to the Floor? Definitely. I thought I'd definitely rather listen to it than Temptation. 100%. And I thought, it was only if you found this probably too late, I was quivered over, but I actually would rather. I've got a very special, I love Chun-Li. I used to listen to it a lot stoned, so I don't know, it's just got a special place for me. But yeah, Chun-Li at 13. Unlucky for some. What have you got there?
Well, in this case, 13 is, and it's Friday the 13th when we're recording this. So that's
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it?
Good day for me to have to have an operation, that, isn't it? Christ almighty. No, I wondered why my mum was so worried, given it was pretty routine. And then I was like, oh, well, right, that'll be it. 13 for me, cigarette smoker Fiona.
Okay, yeah, cigarette smoker Fiona. Yeah, okay. Oh, really? 13. Hello. Oh, right, okay. I thought that was a one you like. Evidently not. My 12 is 7.
Why do none of mine have number 12 written next to them? You just
It's
talk
probably a
about
set formatting thing like I did. 7 is I kind of at the time I really liked it because at the time I was getting numbers off girls in clubs or trying to.
days, weren't they?
And 7 is about that, so I really liked it. But now it's like it's like a better version of Sticking to the Floor. Is how I've always thought of 7. But I know they're not similar content, but I mean like it's like a sort of perfected version. It is an all right song. It's just not, it's not great, is it? Is what it is.
It's
Tis what it is. Tis was.
I get on Tismos again, fucking hell. 12 for me is 7.
Okay. So yeah, very much similar.
Yeah, it's the same. Very much occupies the same space as Sticking to the Floor for me, like you said.
So which song is keeping out of the VIP room for you?
Just
At number
about
11.
it is Nettles.
Ah, mine is the
Yeah,
Frame
yeah.
2R.
Oh, okay.
I like it. I do really like it. I've always really liked it. But similar to the first album, where when I look at the quality of some of the B-sides in the top 10, it just ended up there, really. My number 10, though, is the Nettles. And I could between that and the Frame 2R, but I do prefer listening to the Nettles, actually, because it's just fun and silly, and it's got like a kind of interesting lyrics and stuff like that. So yeah, I put it higher, even though it's short and sweet. What's your 10? Which technically this is what we would say again is our we don't love it and we don't dislike it halfway point of the B-sides. You like it. So mine's the Nettles is the one that I'm meh, I like it. What's your
My 10 is If You Found This, It's Probably Too Late.
Okay, that tracks. Both got short
just
songs there, short fast
Yes.
songs there, with short fast songs there with kind of decipherable lyrics. You might add.
Yeah.
Now, in my I had Cigarette Smoker Fiona at number 9 because you know what got it there? Do you know what got it up the list there? I never came from no ghetto, but it wasn't nowhere near here, which as someone from kind of a council estate at the time, I loved that line because it was like, yeah, it's not like that bad, but it's nowhere near here, so I think we said when we did it, so that lyric alone got it up the list by quite a considerable amount because I just loved that lyric.
As it should, yeah.
And I also love, I bet your dad would like to give us all a slap when are your parents back, do you know?
Yeah. And it's ultimately less cringeworthy than some of the lyrics on the demo version.
Yes.
Yes.
Although, yeah, it was pandas. Yeah, got that coat reference. Yeah. So number. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is Number 9 is No Buses.
Oh, really? Not
Yeah,
got, yeah.
I thought it'd be higher, but in the grand scheme of things, it just I deliberated.
Well, that would be higher than yours for me, but this next one might be higher for you than it is for me. My number 8. So this might be a kind of Ritz Riot Van scenario again, but not huge. But so who the fuck are Arctic Monkeys is my number 8. I really like it. I really like it as a song, and obviously it was big in that transition, blah blah blah, lyrics and stuff. But I'm looking now again at my top 7, and I think that's a pretty tight collection of songs that you have to be pretty good to get into. So that's why Who the Fuck missed.
I'll tell you, this is horrible, but it genuinely got really. This was almost harder than doing the A sides, doing the album tracks. I suppose it was so difficult. So number 8, I've gone from the frame to our slightly higher.
Yeah, a few higher. Yeah, yeah. I would have thought the frame. If you'd have asked me before we covered them all, I would have had the frame 2 or higher because I always thought it was. It was one of them. That was one of the ones on my list from the early days that I thought I can't wait to decipher the lyrics on and discuss. Or not decipher because they're easy, but discuss them. And then when we did it, I was like, they're all right. I think it was one of them things where back in the day when I was out clubbing, I thought these lyrics are amazing. I know that guy. I know that motherfucker.
Yeah. And now you're like, oh, I know that motherfucker.
Yeah, and he's still a twat.
But have you got 7?
7, I've got Settle for a Draw
Settle
because
for a Draw in 7.
Oh, do you? Yeah, because it's the top 6 is tight, but I do think I think for an early song, that's a very good, well-written song. And I would arguably say, when we said about Mardy Bum having when we did Mardy Bum versus If You Were There Beware, was it? And we gave it to If You Were There Beware because the lyrics on Mardy Bum are about a relationship and you get it, but they're not too sophisticated. I would say that Settle for a Draw are more sophisticated commentary at the time on a relationship because it's one set of rules for her and another set for you. That's just the way it is, I suppose. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't fall in the trap of answering back. There can only be a winner. No, but you know what I'm saying. I can't remember it now, but of answering back. I am just a beginner. Oh, that's it. It's a great lyric. I am just a beginner, but there'll be just only winner. That's for sure. Oh, beautiful. So both 7. Okay. So 6 for me. And it's here. I prefer the top 5 more, but this is here based purely on the lyrics and my nostalgia for it and my love for it. Bigger Boys and Stolen Sweethearts. When we covered it, what we thought about that song. I think the lyrics are some of his wittiest still. For that, and again, being that age, and so clever. That guy, the guy again. Yeah.
You just said everything I was going to say about it when I get to it. Obviously, it's a bit higher for me. So my 5 was set in stone. So I knew my 5
6.
straight away. And but
oh, 5, sorry, right, sorry.
Yeah, the 5 was I knew my 5 straight away. And
6, yeah, kind of.
6 is very much the best of the rest for me. It's What If You Were Right the First Time.
Yeah, okay, that's my 5. Yeah, it just slightly puts Bigger Boys because I think it's a better music song, and I still think it's got the biggest moment of sound they've ever had until Body Paint Live, for a recorded track. But I'm
trying to wean myself off Body Paint Live. Can you just stop it? Please, I've genuinely developed a serious problem.
I just had to do the car I just had to edit the car podcast and put live tracks in versions of them all. I just think I feel.
The BBC have put the video of Body Paint from Glastonbury on, and it's had a couple of million views, and I reckon at least 1.5 million of them are me.
It was the best part of the Glastonbury set, definitely.
Yeah.
I thought, and that's a bold statement. Well, not for some, but So, what's your 5?
My 5's The Bakery.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that is very interesting.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised as well.
Okay, my number 4. I can't remember where you had this, but it was low down. No Buses.
I had mine.
I just
9 or something. Yeah.
I just love the melodic, old school version of this, sweet and I'm doing it. Does that mean that I can't? Yeah, love it.
I don't like it,
and clever as well.
Then it makes me wish I put it higher. As soon as I can visualize it in my head, I'm like, oh, Barrett.
Oh, he's really clever with that. The idea of the buses thing and they all come at once, etc. The way he sings it. But yeah, that's my number 4. So we're in the. What's your number 4? Your last one before the elite 3, the top 3. They're on the.
4 is Despair in the Departure Lounge.
Oh really? When you had Bakery at 5, I was convinced that Despair must be your number 1. That's interesting. So Despair's your number 4. Okay, so Despair didn't get in because that was your favorite one off the first album last time. Favorite B-side.
Well, things have changed since then.
You stopped speaking to the woman that you were speaking to again at the time. That was the one that was on the thing. Yeah,
that and we had to do a second series.
Can I have a second series? So my number 3, the big top 3, Despair in the Departure Lounge is my third favorite Arctic Monkeys B-side.
My 3 is Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, really? That high? I knew you'd have it high, but I figured 4. If I was a betting man, I would have said 4.
Purely based on us having, looking through the discography, so where we're up to so far, to go from View from the Afternoon with the mission statement, to Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys with the mission statement, to a lesser extent, then you got to get to the likes of Teddy Picker and If You Were There Everywhere. So that's given me a new appreciation for Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys. I think just this message is always there, even up to now, even up to the car, as we'll get to.
Yeah. Okay. I don't rate it that highly, musically or lyrically, so that's why it's lower. So we differ on that. Perhaps unsurprisingly, then my top 2, and everyone knows that I'm a sucker for the melodic songs of Alex's. So number 2 is Too Much to Ask, and number 1, my favorite B-side so far of the Arctic Monkeys, is The Bakery. It was because I couldn't move them from where they were last week because I didn't think any of the songs were better, to be honest. And I just still think The Bakery has given me little chills every time I listen to it, even now, and especially at the end. You probably classic Alex line. You probably wouldn't have seen me line, and little. Yeah.
If we'd had to do this countdown before we'd started doing the pod, then that would have been my top 2, I think.
I'm trying to think which order you've. Can I guess your order before you say it? Because I know that it's obviously going to be. So the 2 songs left, if I'm not mistaken, are Too Much to Ask and Bigger Boys and Stolen Sweethearts, right? I'm going to say that you've decided. I think Too Much to Ask was your favorite last week, wasn't it? But I think you've gone balls out of the bath and you've gone Too Much to Ask second, and nostalgia has taken over, and Bigger Boys and Stolen Sweethearts is number 1.
You would be absolutely correct, Dan. You'd be absolutely spot on. Yeah, I listened to Bigger Boys and Stolen Sweethearts a few times this morning, and I was just like, I was on my way to work on the bus, and I was just like, oh god, and it just genuinely it transported me back, in a similar way to tracks like Certain Romance and stuff. That is weird. It's not done that before, but all of a sudden I was just like, oh.
You know what? Actually, I want to make an amendment to my list, and I want to put What If You're Right First Time at 6, No Buses at 5, Despair in the Departure Lounge at 4, and Bigger Boys at number 3 is what I think. Okay. In my heart's crying out for it. I think I didn't do it because I don't know, maybe it was the headpiece I was in yesterday, but I thought, oh yeah, I do prefer Despair. But actually, no, you're right. Bigger Boys is number 3 for me. So yeah, I'm putting Bigger Boys at number 3. I'm pushing everything else back a place. So there you go. So yeah, Bakery, Too Much to Ask, Bigger Boys, top 3, and yours is Bigger Boys, Too Much to Ask. Who the fuck are Arctic Monkeys?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Correct.
Quick question for you.
With your top 3s, readers, look in the episode description, find all our links, follow us, rate, review, subscribe, and you can also email us at arcticmonkeyspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what your list is. Let us know what you think of ours, because it's always nice to provoke a healthy debate. Oh,
yeah. Speaking of,
go on.
If on this B-side list we were to allow Leave Before the Lights Come On, the song, onto the list, where do you think it would go?
I think it'd be pushing top 5 for me. Maybe not quite there, probably a 6 or a 7, I think.
I think it could sneak the top spot for me.
Really?
Because it was my favorite song for ages. It was my favorite Arctic Monkeys song until well into the Humbug era. Before I let go of it. Yeah.
Hell.
I know. Or maybe not well into Humbug. I might be misremembering things there. It might have been well into Favorite Worst Nightmare, but
Yeah.
it wasn't until like I think If You Were There Beware kind of took over. But Leave for Lights Come On was my favorite for ages. I loved it at the time. I thought it was like one of the most beautiful songs ever made because I was a dick. But if we were to allow it into the actual song list, because it's a single, into the album lists, where do you think it would sit? Because I think
Again, I'd say just outside top 5 for me. I think pushing its way in.
I think it would have to be. I'm looking at my dream set. I was just like, that's not my list. Yeah, it would have to be around between 10 to 15. Yeah, I think it might push Only Ones Who Know out of the 10th spot and go 10th, but it could also go beneath Plus Adolescent at 12. I think so. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, interesting. Just thought we'd ponder that as it's kind of a floater in the mix. Nick, what's your favourite lyric on both these albums? Well, play the jingle, and then we'll both say our favourite lyric.
That's the best way to do
Which
it.
album's wait.
Too busy.
Go on.
I was just going to say, you had Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys, Too Much to Ask, Bigger Boys.
Yeah.
So whatever people say, I'm Won It For You, but I had Bigger Boys, Too Much to the Bakery's Favourite Worst Nightmare, Won It For Me on the B-sides. Interesting.
Let's see what wins on favourite lyrics.
Well, yeah, and music's, yeah.
Too busy with the mind on clever lines.
I'm going to go for what is still one of my all-time favourite Alex lyrics. Yeah, but his bird said it's amazing though, so all that's left is the proof that love's not only blind, but deaf. Which I still think is one of the most clever, witty lyrics ever written. I don't care what anyone says. To come up with that line at his age is insane.
See, I can't even remember what I had as my when we did.
Do you think it was first or second album? Oh, when you the first album, I think you might have had Classic Reeboks on that. Maybe.
I think I did. So, well, the one I want to go for is.
Oh no! I'll tell you what you had. I think it was something from View from the Afternoon. You had.
I think it was. Well, it's changed now. It's gone back. We've pivoted back to Certain Romance and going for Over There as Friends of Mine. What can I say? I've known them for a long, long time. Might overstep the line. Just cannot get angry in the same way. Speaks to me about my life. It doesn't.
So whatever people say, I'm won the lyric battle. Rightfully so.
I think so. I think that's fair enough.
It's an immense lyric album.
Will it win the musical battle? Let's find out.
In your ear, that make you get up and down.
So, in my opinion, there's only two answers to this, but there's actually only one answer to this. And for me, that answer is A Certain Romance outro.
Yeah, that's my answer.
And the only one that you could say second in that is If You Were There Beware. Although you could also, to be fair, you could say outro for 505 as well. Yeah. So, but Certain Romance shits all over both of them anyway, so it doesn't really matter because the outro is incredible. Still,
yeah,
chills. I get chills. Okay, well there you go. Favorite Worst Nightmare. What if people say won that? And I would say overall, whatever people say I am has won pretty much everything there is to be won. It's Oscars night.
It swept the board.
La La Land didn't win. Like everyone thought. Everyone thought
Favorite Nightmare was going to win. But someone read it out wrong.
Yeah, it didn't win. Someone read it out wrong, and they all got up on stage, and then they went, "Oi, bad thing, 505, get off the stage. It's actually this gay race drama." Whatever people say, that's what I'm not. I've got lost in the metaphor. Yeah, and they've got up and they couldn't believe it. But yeah, no. So whatever people say, won the war, and I think that was always on the cards. But in that vein, I've got a little hot take before we go out, and just food for thought. Dan's food thought of the day.
She flicks a red hot revelation off the tip of her toe.
So I'm going to say this statement, and then I'm going to explain this statement before people go, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Okay. Favorite Worst Nightmare has a better collection of songs, but whatever people say on That's What I'm Not is a better album. Now, what I mean by that is, whatever people say on That's What I'm Not has View from the Afternoon, Dance Floor, Fake Tales, Dancing Shoes, Still Take You Home, Riot Van, Mardy Bum, Ritz, When the Sun Goes Down, Romance. 10 great songs. Favorite Worst Nightmare has Brian Storm, Teddy Picker, Fluorescent Adolescent, Only Ones You Know, Do Me a Favor, This House is Circus, If You Were There, 505. 8 great songs. But I'd say those 8 songs from Favorite Worst Nightmare are better songs than the 10 songs off whatever people say I am. But whatever people say I am is a better album overall.
I think it flows better as an album. I think it feels less like a mixture of themes, rather not wanting to get into the concept album discussion because, as we know, it isn't a concept album.
No,
but
it's a generational album.
It is it's up there with, in terms of generational albums, you're talking definitely maybe Stone Roses. That's, it's in that ballpark of generational albums.
Generational album. Some generational albums are generational albums for that generation, and some generational albums are generational albums for every generation at that age. And I would say, whatever people say, maybe some lyrics obviously outdated, but the philosophy behind them or the actual
General
stories
theme
will still be the same. People going out today, some of the stuff might be different, like mobile phones and taxis. You don't get in a flat cab, you get an Uber and shit, stuff like that. But a lot of the Tropical Reef and stuff, outdated references, but the sentiments are the same. You're still going out and getting fucked and doing that in this British culture. So I would say the British culture hasn't changed that much. So that album will forever.
Which is why indie clubs, you walk past an indie club and it's like I've been to an indie club anytime recently, but you go and they're still playing those songs. You pick up a flyer or you see a poster for a night at an indie club, and it's always got artwork based on this album on there. It's still very much in the cultural zeitgeist, as it were.
Yes. But Favorite Worst Nightmare has better songs because Favorite Worst Nightmare's songs are still in the cultural zeitgeist. So the album isn't in the cultural zeitgeist, but Fluorescent Adolescent, Teddy Picker, Brian Storm to an extent, 505 very much so.
505 taking up a new life.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And Certain Romance should have had a resurgence like that, but it's probably hampered by its lyrics in the opening lyrics. Whereas 505 is love is always relatable, isn't it?
It is.
So there you go. So we don't run out of that.
Indeed,
Death,
it is.
taxes, and heartbreak. That's the 3 things that are guaranteed in life.
Yes. Yeah.
It's good said, actually. Shame I'm not famous and someone's going to write that down.
Well, the only way that's going to go anywhere is if you die, like in your sleep tonight, and those will be your last words.
Could happen. Fingers crossed.
Oh, I hope not.
You'd
not
love
on a
it.
weekend, Dan. No, it's ruining every Friday night out for me, ever. If I'm out on a Friday night, I'm like, oh, it's not like Fridays. It was the night Dan died. It was the night I had to get someone else to do the podcast with me. Well, that just about wraps up another one of our special wrap-up episodes. But what are we doing next week, Dan?
Well, we're going to do, on to see off again this era of albums, we're going to do a Things We Missed episode on both albums. So we're not just going to be us just saying, oh, we missed this, but we're going to be utilizing the band themselves and special interviews where they talk about stuff to perhaps give a bit more insight on the albums, playing clips from them, interviews, and bringing up stuff on each track that we've missed and things that maybe we got wrong as well, and just seeing it off with a little roundup of what the band's thoughts are and things we got wrong. And and then after that we'll be hitting bonus episodes that are unrelated to these eras, which
Q&A episode. Send your questions in for us.
We're gonna cover. We're gonna do an episode on all the first album B-sides that were done. All the first album covers that were done during that time, and all the second album covers that were done during that period. That's going to be very interesting. So we're going to be listening to them and talking about them. That'll be fun. And yeah, Q&A, and I think another one as well that I can't remember right now, but that will all be coming up.
Yes, excited. So don't adjust your dial, mainly because dials aren't a thing anymore. And you'll have heard the trailer halfway through, but check out our other podcast, Liquor and Lyrics, music/comedy podcast, where we look at some popular songs, have a drink and have a chat, and then have a slash because we've been drinking. Right, say goodbye to the nice people, Dan.
Goodbye.
Your tracky bottoms tucked in socks, but all of that's what the point is not. The point's that there ain't no romance around them, and there's the truth that they can't see. I'm sure they'd like to throw a punch at me, and if you could only see them, then you would agree that there ain't no romance around there, you know. Oh, it's a funny thing, you know. We'll tell them if you like, we'll tell them all tonight, they'll never listen, because the minds are made up, of course it's all okay to carry on that way. 'Cause over there there's broken bones, there's only music, so that there's new ringtones, and it don't take no Sherlock Holmes to see it's all different around here. Don't get me wrong though, there's boys in bands and kids who like to scrap with pool cues in their hands. Just 'cause he's had a couple of cans, he thinks it's alright to act like a dickhead, don't you know? Oh, it's a funny thing, you know. We'll tell them if you like, we'll tell them all tonight, they'll never listen, because the minds are made up, of course it's all okay to carry on that way, but I said no. Oh no, well you won't get me to go, not anywhere, don't even dare, 'cause I won't go. Oh no, no. But over there, there's friends of mine. What can I say? I've known them for a long, long time, and they might overstep the line, but you just cannot get angry in the same way. No, not in the same way. So not in the same way. Oh no, oh no, no.
Don't Believe the Hype is hosted and produced weekly by Nick Lee and Dan Holt. The music used in the titles is royalty-free music courtesy of Les FM. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast player of choice to be notified every Wednesday when a new episode is released. And if you want to help us out further, be sure to like and review to help make us more visible to like-minded souls. We will see you next week with more of the same.